Woman, you have killed 50 men in total because of the hatred you have for men. Even your soul cannot atone for your sins, but the gods are merciful. Let's begin the sacrifice.
Imola's first child came during the rainy season. Thunder rolled the night she went into labor, and women said it was a sign of strength. The boy arrived safely, round-faced, loud-voiced, full of life. When he suckled, he held Imola's finger tightly, as though afraid she might disappear. Imole named him Ocheja. For a while, happiness returned to her house. Sadiq laughed again. Neighbors visited. Mama Oyilo even allowed herself a small smile, one that did not reach her eyes. The child grew quickly. Too quickly. By the time Ocheja was barely past crawling, he was already standing, wobbling on his small feet, gripping stools and walls. The day he took his first full steps, Imole screamed with joy. Women clapped. Children danced. That night, Ocheja slept and did not wake. No fever, no convulsion, no cry, just silence. They buried him before sunset. When the second child came, fear sat quietly in the room like an extra guest. Still, Imole refused to believe it meant anything. This one will stay, she said, more to herself than to anyone else. But when the second child also died shortly after learning to walk, whispers began to follow Imole wherever she went. By the time she became pregnant the third time, the elders could no longer keep quiet. They came early one morning, sitting on wooden benches in her compound, faces serious. An old man cleared his throat. This child may not be ordinary. Imole shouted at them. She accused them of cruelty, of planting fear where none existed. She chased them out. The third child, a girl, was born with a small dark mark on her upper arm. Imole noticed it, but ignored it. When the child began to stand, the elders returned, this time with resolve. They told Imole the truth plainly. If this child is an Ogbanji, she will return. If she returns, she will return with a sign. They said the only way to be sure was to mark the child before death. Imole refused at first. She cried, she begged, she insulted tradition, but grief had already made her weak. That night, as the child slept, the elders marked her arm. Not deep, just enough. The child died 2 days after she walked. They buried her quietly. When Imole became pregnant again, fear sat openly at the center of the house. The fourth child was born. On her arm was the same mark, in the same place, clear as daylight. Imole collapsed. She screamed until her voice broke. The elders nodded slowly. She has returned. From that point, the story was no longer private. The fifth, sixth, and seventh children all came with the mark. Each stayed, each walked, each died. 7 children, 7 small graves. People stopped coming to the house. They said death was comfortable there. Sadiq's life unraveled. His farms stopped yielding crops even when rain was good. His animals died without sickness. Business deals failed one after the other. Imole's sisters noticed something else, something quieter, but just as cruel. None of them could conceive. Month after month, year after year, barrenness wrapped itself around Mama Onyilo's daughters like punishment, passed down carefully. And through it all, Mama Onyilo said nothing. She only watched. When Imole became pregnant the 8th time, she did not celebrate. She delivered the baby, a boy, without ceremony. The elders came and examined him. He had the mark. But this child did not rush life. He crawled slowly. He watched people with eyes too sharp for his age. Sometimes he smiled at empty corners. People avoided meeting his gaze. Imole counted the days. She knew what came next. As the 8th child approached the age of walking, calamities descended like rain that refused to stop. One sister went mad overnight, speaking to invisible people. Another collapsed while pounding yam and never stood straight again. A mysterious illness swept through their compound alone. Still, Mama Onyilo refused the elders' calls. No blood will be spilled because of stories, she said. The gods answered her refusal with silence, and silence became suffering. 3 nights before the child was expected to walk, Mama Onyilo called her daughters together. Her voice was tired, old. She spoke. She told them about Uchadu, about her father, about the fire, about the sons who never lived in her womb, about the man who loved Enesi and never returned. When she finished, no one spoke. At dawn, the elders were summoned. Mama Onyilo repeated everything, publicly, without defense. The elders listened. Then they said the words nobody wanted to hear. The blood that cries must be answered with blood. At first, the family refused. They begged, they argued. They tried to offer animals. The gods refused. That night, the 8th child stood up. He took one step, then another. Everyone froze. Imole screamed. Before death could repeat itself, Mama Onyilo stood forward. Enough, she said. I started this. The daughters looked at each other. There were tears, but there was also relief. They agreed, unanimously.
In Ajegu, dawn came quietly on the day Mama Onyilo was taken to the shrine. No cock crowed too early. No child laughed on the road. Even the wind moved as if it did not want to disturb what was about to happen. People woke up with a weight on their chests they could not explain. They already knew. Mama Onyilo did not wear black. She wore plain cloth, faded, old, the kind women wear when they have finished arguing with life. Her daughters walked behind her, not crying loudly, not wailing, just walking. Imole carried her 8th child on her back. The baby was quiet, his head resting against her spine, his eyes open, watching. Villagers stood at a distance. Some bowed their heads. Some whispered prayers. Some watched with the kind of curiosity reserved for things they never thought they would live to see. No one stopped them. The shrine sat deep in the bush, where the trees grew twisted and the ground never fully dried. It was said that sacrifices offered there never echoed, they were absorbed. The chief priest came forward. He did not insult Mama Onyilo. He did not accuse her. He spoke calmly. Blood that hides does not disappear. It waits for generations. Mama Onyilo nodded. She knelt. For the first time in her life, she bowed her head completely. She spoke again, louder this time, so the gods would hear, so the ancestors would hear. She confessed the fire in Uchadu, not as accident, but as anger. She confessed the hatred she carried for men. She confessed killing her husband with poison. She confessed allowing innocent blood to answer her fears. She confessed shaping her daughters' lives with bitterness instead of wisdom. Her voice cracked only once, when she said the name of the man who loved Enesi. The air changed. The priest nodded. The earth has heard. No animal was brought forward, no substitute accepted. Mama Onyilo had already been chosen long before that morning. She lay herself down. She did not scream. She did not fight. Her last words were not curses. They were instructions. Let my daughters choose better than I did. When it was done, the forest grew quiet. Too quiet. Then a breeze moved through the leaves, and something lifted. Back in Ajegu, as the sun climbed higher, Imole's baby stood again. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. He did not fall. He laughed, and for the first time, the laughter did not end in mourning. That night, the child slept peacefully and woke. Slowly, very slowly, things changed. Sadiq's farm yielded crops again. His business recovered. Imole's sisters conceived. Not all at once, but enough to know the door had closed. The dreams stopped. The marked children did not return. People stopped whispering when Imole passed. They said, the gods have collected what was old. Mama Onyilo was not buried in Ajegu. She was not praised, but she was remembered as a warning, as a lesson, as proof that pain ignored becomes poison passed on. Rimande would later tell her own children, "Your grandmother loved fiercely, but she loved with fear, and fear destroys what love cannot protect." In Ajegu, elders still say, when hatred becomes inheritance, the innocent will pay. And when fires burn too long in the heart, they eventually burn everything else.